Had not done a weather outlook for a while and thought I would do one. This is Tuesday, June 18th, 2019. Looking first at the weather map here for today on Tuesday, June 18th. The red hatched area that you see here all over the northern part of Virginia into Maryland, up into New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware. That area is on the outlook for any heavy rain, potential flooding. As a matter of fact, there are flood watches up, and I'll show that map in a moment. We do have a trough here that's going to move through that should kick off some showers and thunderstorms. This front that's been stationary and going kind of back and forth slowly has been the focus for a lot of rain over the last couple of days. But with this disturbance going through and all the moisture we have in place, we should see quite a bit of rain today. And with all that moisture and cloudiness in the way, we are only going to see highs in the 70s and 80s for the most part. You get into the 90s once you get south into North Carolina because they'll get more sun down here. Still very soupy air mass. I mean, as we start the day, you can look here at the projected dew points here at 7 a.m. Eastern Time, which is right about now. And we're in the 60s and 70s for dew points, even mid-70s down here in the southeast up near the coast. That's just uncomfortable weather. But what it does mean is that there is a lot of moisture in the air. When things get triggered today, we should see quite a bit of rain. Now, of note today, there's not a lot of movement in the storms, and so that's why there are a lot of flood watches out currently in the region. This is all the areas that are highlighted here. The flash flood watches for the DC area, they kick in at 2 p.m. this afternoon. There already are ongoing showers and thunderstorms up in Pennsylvania, closer to the front. So we'll just see more rounds of showers and thunderstorms today, especially into the afternoon. This morning, we could just see cloudy skies for a lot of areas south of like in the mid-central mid-Atlantic, and less clouds as you get further south. But any storms today that do fire up are going to be slow movers because there's not a lot of movement in the atmosphere, and therefore capable of producing a lot of rain. So again, that hashed area that I showed earlier is where there's a slight outlook for excessive rain. This is where we could hit flash flood guidance for it's about a 10 to 20% chance, but enough of a chance that localized there's definitely going to be some flooding concerns if these storms move slowly over a certain area for a longer period of time. And because there is a lot of moisture in the front here, we could have a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms today. The biggest risk would be from winds and hail, possibly. Again, there's not a lot of movement in the atmosphere, so winds will probably be lower and hail potentially even be higher from the outlook. Tornadoes are not a threat really today at all. This is a heads up for Thursday, so not Wednesday, but Thursday. Front will be moving through, and the areas up in this yellow region have already been outlined for a slight risk of severe. This time the front will come through and finally clear the area, giving it a much likelier, or much better chance of good weather for Friday and Saturday for this weekend, especially up in the northern areas. So of note, here is the precipitation outlook. And just a note, you're seeing that it's just showing sparse areas where you get higher levels of moisture. That's because we're dealing with thunderstorms. And so where these actually do line up, you can see 1, 2, 3 inches of rain. This is over the next 2 days, ending on Thursday. So just because we are in a flood watch does not necessarily mean that everybody's going to see flooding rains. But there is a potential from anywhere from 1 to 3 inches of rain, I would say, from any regions actually that are in the flood watch, and so we just need to be alert. And as you can see, the whole region, especially as you head more north and west, there is a lot of moisture out there, a lot of chance for a lot of rain. But I will say that this area is down here in the southeast along the coast have really been more on the light side. I'm not saying that they're really light. I mean, this is good amounts of rain, but obviously they're hotter, drier than up here in the north. It's been very, very wet. So this is a 7-day outlook for rainfall. Still looking pretty wet through next Tuesday. So for the last thing I wanted to show here is just the temperature outlook for the next several days. This is by the National Weather Service. Again, today's highs, I already showed this earlier. Cooler where there's cloudiness in the north, and then where we get more sunshine, we get broken out into much warmer conditions. Imagine it feels much stickier than this. I'd say high temperatures will feel in the mid and upper 90s down here, and the mid-90s in the middle part of the state of Virginia. As we move again into Wednesday, temperatures are going to stay pretty similar. As a matter of fact, you're not going to see that much of a change here, except for more cloudiness, as it is going to cause a little bit of a bump down actually in temperatures here in the upper part of North Carolina into Virginia. And we get into Thursday as the front is starting to progress, and it's going to clear out some of the clouds in front of it, so we're going to see a lot more chances for 90s up into Virginia. It's going to be a very hot and sticky day for many, many people. And then as we get into Friday, definitely see a change here as the front has swept through the northern part of the regions and is headed further south. You can see that 80s have now replaced a lot of those mid and upper 80s and even 90s. And I'd just tell you the dew points have really come down, so it's going to be really nice. As we just peer into the outlook for Saturday, it's very similar, maybe a few degrees warmer. And then Sunday, we should see an increase in humidity and temperatures. So, oh no. Yeah, so if we look at Sunday, sorry, it took me a moment. We're going to see the temperature starting to creep back up, and it's also say that the humidity is also sneaking back up. The last thing I wanted to actually highlight is the 6 to 10 day weather outlook, and then the 8 to 14 days. This is the next 2 weeks, basically, that we're looking at, and an increase in heat does look likely in the east. As a matter of fact, we'll see a big west coast downward or cool down. That just means the east will be much, much warmer. We'll also see the continued chance of higher than normal rain, although maybe not as heavy. Unfortunately, the Midwest, which really needs no more rain, is also highlighted for a lot more rain. And then the longer term than that, like I said, the 8 to 14 day period, a continuation of above normal temperatures, and at least a chance for parts of the areas to see above normal to normal precipitation. So that is it for the Mid-Atlantic weather outlook. Remember, there's always a 100% chance of weather, because we know that. Anyway, sorry, this always tends to be around 7 minutes long. Thanks, and have a good day.